Fresh is the word.
I'm Jim Duggan, got long wood for plenty hoes. I keep it fresher than fresh, but you already know. You suckers bummy, I'm money, I got a ton of flows. My weed loud like a motherfucking thunder roll. Your shit quiet like you ballin' on a budget though. We see your kicks and we laugh and yellin' what are those. You see me shining like a suit on puffy. You know my grind and shit is too strong, buddy. That's why the dude call money. I be stuntin' like it's nothing at all, cause it's nothing to me. It's probably something to y'all. Trying to smoke like me, then come and fuck with your dog. Got a closet full of kicks, you can't cop it them all. And I'm fresher than the freshest, you can tell it's in my essence. Bitch, you see the way I'm rapping, yes I do this shit to death. I tell I'm running out of breath, I tell somebody cut a check. But either way you know it's fresh, and either way you know it's fresh. Fresh, we fresh. Fresh, goddammit, we fresh.
Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast, the podcast about music, pro wrestling, and MMA. I'm your host, K Fresh, and I'm about to journey off to LA later on this week, so I'm recording this a little bit early. I'm going to be in attendance for Glory Kickboxing on Friday in Los Angeles, and then the next night I'll be at Bellator 170, headlined by Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen. So I'm super psyched for all that. And like always, we have a really good show today. A really good show. All of them are good, but this one's really good too. We got a special guest, Carley Coma, the lead singer of the Brooklyn-based progressive experimental metal band Candiria. He's a big MMA fan. So we break down a little bit about the band because after about an 8-9 year hiatus, they came back with a new album last year on Metal Blade Records called While They Were Sleeping. And so we break down, him coming back into the music game with the band, his reactions, the live shows. They're about to go on a little tour. But then we break down what's going on in the world of MMA, mostly the UFC. We talk about a lot of things. It's super cool to talk with Carley Coma. But before we get into that interview, I definitely want to, remind everybody how you can support the podcast. You can always go to freshasthepodcast.com and share any of the links on the website, any of the episodes, and that would be great. Or you can click on the link on the website that says support the podcast, and there's a PayPal link you can donate to. Or if you ever make any purchases on Amazon, there's an Amazon link on there. Just use that link. It doesn't change anything on your end. They'll just kick back some commission my way. And also you can follow Fresh is the Word at Fresh is the Word #1. That's Fresh is the Word, then the #1 on Instagram and Twitter. Then also on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/Fresh is the Podcast and give us a like. And you can also subscribe to Fresh is the Word on Stitcher and on iTunes. And, give us a 5-star rating if you like the show. These shows are just going to get better and better. And like always, after I get done with the podcast, I'm going to be joined with my co-host, Vstylez, to do some discussion and analysis in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. And before we get to this to the interview with Carley Coma, I just want to remind you about some friends of mine. If you ever need any screen printing done, use Undeniable Press. They're located in the Greektown area of Detroit. You can get T-shirts, you can get posters, you can get towels, anything, and they'll hook you up with some quality screen printing. And for more information, you can go to facebook.com/undeniable.press. And those same guys, they also run a clothing line that's wrestling oriented. It's called 20 by 20, and you can go to the website, which is the number 20x20 apparel.com. That's 20x20 apparel.com, and they have a really dope line of a lot of wrestling themed T-shirts for you to buy. Make you something a little different when you go out to those wrestling shows. You won't have the same John Cena T-shirt that everybody else has. You'll have something different, and you'll look cool, and definitely look like a smart mark. Well, enough of that. Let's get into the interview with Carley Coma of the band Candiria. All right, we have Carley Coma here from the band Candiria. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah, I was told that you were really into MMA, so I was like, dude, I definitely want to talk with this guy for my podcast. So I'm glad we were able to connect.
It's nice. Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Before we get into some to the MMA talk, I definitely want to catch up about what's been going on with the band for a little bit. Last year, you released While They Were Sleeping on Metal Blade, the first Candiria album since 2009's Kiss the Lie. What's been the reception from the fans from that album?
Oh, the reception has been great. It's something we've never done before, even though you can hear some aspects of the band, certain things we've done before in the past, but you can see how much the band has grown as as songwriters, and the fans are just happy just to see us back in the swing of things, you know what I mean? And the outpouring of love has been really awesome.
After that break, was there any sort of apprehension going into making this album about how your listening community, how your fans would take to this new album?
I had apprehensions about coming back altogether. I just didn't know if I wanted to do the band thing, touring, and I was focusing more on producing electronic stuff and everything. But as we started writing, we wanted to write a record that was just completely honest, something that would showcase where we are now. So even when, let's say, even when we would write something like, oh, this is new, and the thought would come up, or let's say pop in my head, and I wonder how the fans will receive this. It's like, well, we're being honest. Let's do it anyway. So whatever apprehensions there were about how they would receive it, our desire outweighed our fear.
Do you think you were able to achieve everything that you wanted to do with this album going into it? Me personally, I say we achieved maybe 85-90% of it. I like to think big, but I have to kind of go past what would be considered I guess normal, right. In order to go past what would be achievable in order to hit my goals, so to speak. So even though for the most part, I felt that we explained the story well, I felt that the music's awesome, whatever, there's still more that I want to do on this record. But whatever I wasn't able to, let's say, put on this record, achieve whatever, so to speak, we'll have for the second record. Great. You've this band has been in existence for about 25 years now. It's 25 years deep now. Is there anything that really sticks out in your mind about those early years as a band?
The thing that's I guess the genesis, the beginning of everything, how the style was formed. I remember being in the studio with me, Eric, Chris, and Kenny, and just seeing things take shape. We weren't really thinking about let's say how people would receive it. We were thinking about, oh, let's try this, let's try that. It was just complete experimentation, no holds barred. And so to see this style take shape and to see how it has influenced bands and other musicians over the years is really remarkable. But the beginning years of being part of that, I think, was very, very awesome.
Do you remember having sort of that holy shit moment when you realized, hey, this band could be something that we could do for a long time, and then even if we're take a break, that 25 years later, our fans will still be around and we can put out an album?
Well, I realized that when we were voted one of the top 10 best bands in Rolling Stone magazine. That's when, and MTV was showcasing us like every hour on MTV News throughout like the whole day.
Right.
And that's when I realized, I'm like, what is going on? And people just started stopping me at places where I didn't expect to be stopped. You know, I remember going to the Jacob Javits car show, and some guy stopped me. Hey, I saw you on the TV. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like, I didn't sign up for this. You know what I mean? And like, I would get off the train, and people would just pick me up. This one dude just put me in a bear hug and swung me around. Hey, Carley. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? You know, but it was just, but around that time is when I realized that we were really onto something special, because, you know, like I said, you know, when we're writing the stuff, the Candiria style was just like, oh, this was how we express ourselves. Like, that's it. But seeing how people reacted to it and how the press reacted to it, that's when I really just started to get a sense of what we were doing.
Do you ever go back and listen to the early work of your band? Does that sort of like, when you do, does it lock you into that feeling of that time when you wrote those songs, or is there sort of a different feeling now when you listen to it all?
The feeling is definitely different because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I try not to dwell in the past or anything like that.
Yeah.
When I listen to the old records, all I hear is how much I've grown, or what I would have done differently. And being one of the founding members, I think that's okay for me to do that. You know what I mean? I think it's okay for me to do that, because that's how I just continue to move forward, continue to innovate and try new things. So I always listen to the old stuff forensically, so to speak. Yeah.
Looking back to, you know, since, you know, 1992 when this band started, in regards to sort of like the societal and cultural events that's gone on in the world since then, you know, how do those sort of things sort of parallel to what goes on in your music?
Oh, well, they absolutely have play a part in our songwriting. I think as artists, it's our job to report what's going on in an artistic way. You know, it's to sit there and to not express it in your music, depending on what kind of, maybe depending what kind of genre, and I'm not sure, but like, right. It might be considered a travesty. You know what I mean? It's like I have to, I'm compelled to, in some way, shape, or form, to allow myself to be inspired by what's going on and just to.
Oh, what's a live show like these days for you guys?
Filled with excitement, still jumping around on stage, haven't skipped a beat. Fans are still just still really getting into it. Some of our fans are older, and you could tell because they're like just shaking their heads. But like the younger guys are just still jump off stages and doing all that stuff.
That's great. That's great. And I know you're a part of another band, Park Lane. What's going on with that band?
Oh no, that I haven't been part of that band in like a while. It's a band I joined on the West Coast, maybe like 2012, 2011.
Oh, okay.
We changed the name to Letters from the Fire, and it was cool. I had a good time doing it. We parted ways, and now I took time off, and after that band, I thought I was just done with bands altogether. But I took time off, and the guys in Candiria approached me. Metal Blade and Strong Management approached us and said, "You know what? Let me see if I left in me to contribute." You know.
What was sort of the deciding factor to come back to this all?
Well, definitely the fact that Metal Blade and Strong Management were interested. And I know that the staff at Metal Blade were excited about another Candiria record coming out on Metal Blade. And also just over the years, the fans haven't, they didn't let up, not once. You know, everyone was crying for like a new record, and I'm like,
Right.
you know what? Let's see what we can do and find. You know what? Like, there are a couple of things that I just need to know just to see what we would do in regards to commitment and stuff like that. And we talked openly about that with the label, with management, amongst ourselves as band members. And after we came to an agreement, I said, all right, let's get into the studio and start writing.
Awesome. Yeah. Glad you guys are back. The new album's really good.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. Thank you.
Cool. So let's talk about some MMA now. You're a big MMA fan. How did you first get into being to watching MMA and being a fan?
Years ago, the first fight I saw was Tank Abbott fighting, I don't even know who else. But all I know is like this guy scared me. I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't boxing. This is something else. I'm like, did he really kick that guy there? I'm like, how is this allowed? I'm like, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I'm just in it, and I was just hooked, you know? And I lost, and it was so new, right? It was so new that after touring, coming back, I completely forgot, like, well, what station was this on? I didn't even know the name. I'm like, I just like, oh my God, this guy's beating each other up. Right. What am I watching? And then years later, you know, I stumbled onto WEC. Okay. I'm like, this is it. And I just started, and it was on. Literally after just watching like maybe like 2 weeks, I knew the stats about like every fighter. I knew, you know, everything, you know, like, and my brother's like, man, you just started watching this again. I'm like, yeah, this guy trains out of this gym. He trains out of this gym. Yeah. His specialty is, his discipline is this, that, and the other. And it was great. And I was just completely, and I was completely in love with it. And then I went into the phase, right? I'm like, oh, maybe I could try this out, right? You know, then you go to the phase where you think you're an MMA fighter. And like after just watching, I think the first pay-per-view fight I saw was Czech Congo.
Okay.
I forgot who was fighting, but it was in HD, and just the amount of blood that I saw, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I think I'm good, man. I'll stick to being a musician, but it was insane.
I don't know, with a name like Carley Coma, you sound like you could be a fighter or at least a pro wrestler.
You know, it's funny that you said that. I did an MMA interview on Sirius Radio, and he said, so if you were an MMA fighter, what would you call yourself? I'm like, Carley, the Black Tornado Coma. I'm like, you know, because I jump and spin on stage, and like he's like, that's amazing. I'm like, so, yeah, you know, it would be cool, man. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds fantastic.
I might still give it a shot. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll dress up as an MMA fighter for Halloween. Who knows? Yeah. Anyway.
So you do kind of like keep tabs on all the different companies, not just UFC?
Yeah. I try my best. There's just so much stuff going on. I remember Bodog back in the day. I remember when Bellator was coming up and keeping tabs on like everything. And then once the UFC went global, it just it was just kind of like, man, it's like every time I turn around, there's like a new fighter. You know, I prided myself in knowing everything about every fighter. And then once they just went like China, like everywhere, like, you know, Germany, whatever the case may be, I'm like, man, all right, this is gonna take a while. You know what I mean? So especially I'm a busy guy, so it's like, all right, so I try my best to, you know, try to soak out everything in, you know, and like on all the new organizations.
There's a lot of fighters, a lot of stuff going on. There's you got UFC, you got Bellator, then overseas you have stuff like One Championship and Ryzen.
What's the one in Africa again? Is it remember the one in South Africa? What's that one called? I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, dude, there's like everything, you know, and it's great just to see how much the sport has grown.
There's so much now that UFC, like, if you don't fit into UFC, there's a possibility you can go somewhere else and have a nice career.
Yeah, exactly. I was definitely sad that they let Mike Goldberg go, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man. And there was like nothing. I know his son and his wife were pretty upset that they didn't give him like a proper send off, and like, man, no more Goldie. That's gonna be weird, you know?
Right. That was very weird because just like the whole, it doesn't matter what the industry or what sort of news outlet or whatever, your sort of television anchors or commentators, once they're leaving at a place, they kind of always get a send off, you know.
Yeah.
Get some way to just say goodbye, you know, to
Yeah.
to where they've been for a while. But they didn't do that, and that's just really weird. I don't.
I think it's because the Fertitta brothers aren't in charge anymore because the company got bought out. There's new leadership, and that has to me that's the only reason. That has to be the only reason why that was.
Right. So I can, you've been paying attention to what's been going on in UFC recently, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now there's like a bit of an uncertain future with in the UFC with their two top stars, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey. Who knows if Ronda's going to ever step in the octagon again, and then Conor wants to take some time off. What do you think the UFC needs to do to sort of elevate the star power within the company? And who do you think should step up? Who would you like to step up to be like the faces of the company?
Well, John Jones, if he can get his act together.
Oh, definitely.
That dude literally is amazing, and it's a work of art. It's like watching a work of art fight, you know,
Yes.
and like it's just amazing. And if he just got his act together, it would be amazing. You know what I mean? And Cody Garbrandt looked great, but in terms of stars, I think you have him. Ronda, I think she got $3 million for that fight, and I think if not the highest draw, I think, but like if she keeps going, and who am I? You know, I'm just giving my opinion here, right? Like if she didn't look good in the octagon, you know, it's like what she took like 440 days, whatever, off and whatever, and you didn't see. She looked a little lost. She didn't look confident, and and I feel if she comes back to the ring and she keeps having outings like that, I think her stock will definitely go down. Conor McGregor, I think, he'll always be a star.
Oh, yeah.
Only because like it's almost sometimes you think he's running the UFC.
Definitely. Definitely.
I mean, it's like, I went to the press conference for the UFC 205 press conference in Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
And he was just running like the whole show practically.
Oh, that was a circus. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. But I think I think you're just going to see they're going to have to keep their eye out for new and up and coming fighters, which they're always coming, you know what I mean? But few are like Conor McGregor.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, right.
But he is the full package. What he has to be careful of is to go into Chael Sonnen mode. Chael Sonnen, when he was trash talking with Anderson Silva, it was great. But then he just started just going into all these claims that were just, now you just sound like a nut. You know what I mean?
Right.
So McGregor has to be very, very careful from going to a guy who's saying stuff that he's going to back it up to a dude who's just saying comments and just pulling it out of nowhere. And after a while, no one takes it seriously. I think that's what happened to Chael Sonnen. You know, after a while, people stopped believing it, you know?
Do you think this is a perfect time for someone like George St. Pierre to come back and to have leverage towards the UFC to get what he wants?
Oh, it would be great, but I'd love to see St. Pierre come back. I know Dana White has said that he doesn't want it anymore. He's not hungry anymore. And St. Pierre is like, I'm still training. He goes, I'm doing movies or whatever. He goes, but I'm still training and I'm still hungry. So I know those guys have, they've been having like a little feud back and forth. But to me, it would be awesome to see him come back. And I think he would still handle business. The guy is just obsesses about being on top and about being the best.
Right. We got some cool fights that have been announced upcoming. UFC 209, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight title. What's your thoughts about that fight?
That is going to be an amazing fight. I can go either way on that one. I just don't know. Those guys are just both that good, and to me, you're one punch or one submission away from becoming the interim champ, and I can't make any predictions about that one. I would like to hear your take on that. Who do you think? Who you're leaning more towards?
I'm leaning more towards Khabib.
Okay.
I think it's his time. He's really hungry. He's like me and my buddy always said, man. He's fought bears and gorillas.
Yeah.
So I think
he fought bears and gorillas.
And I would also like, and maybe Dana White can get his little friendship with Donald Trump or whatever, and then Donald Trump's little friendship with Putin to have some big Nurmagomedov headline an event in Russia, or something, you know.
It's something like, or have him run for senator.
Right. Just think of a Khabib Nurmagomedov like headlining an event in Russia, man. He's like a big deal over there.
Massive for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a massive event. So like, I would really like to see that. So whatever needs to be done. I don't know what's going on between the U.S. and Russia right now. What's going on with Donald Trump and Putin, but I don't want it to fuck up the plans of having a huge Khabib Nurmagomedov headlining fight in Russia.
Yeah, that would be madness for sure.
Also announces the rematch between Tyron Woodley and Wonderboy Thompson. What's your thoughts about that?
I've been keeping an eye on that. It's like I thought Wonderboy was. I thought he would have won the first fight, but he didn't look as good as he usually does in the past. I know he's calling Tyron out now, and Tyron, you can call him Tyron finally said all right. And I'm hoping, I like them both. I like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson better. I think he would be, in terms of star power, I think he would probably be a bigger star than Tyron. I remember going to the press conference for UFC 205, and the fans were completely behind Wonderboy and completely against Tyron. I'm like, wow. And Tyron was like, wow, you guys are booing me? He couldn't even believe it. He was like, but I'm hoping this time around that that Wonderboy could pull it off. I think Wonderboy has more tools in his arsenal. I don't know what happened that fight. I mean, I don't know if he just couldn't pull the trigger. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
See, I'm more on the side of Woodley. This is my thing with Woodley, though. I feel like the company as a whole has really been fronting on him and not really marketing him as sort of the person that he is. He's a person who is a champ, a person who is a part of his community, who helps out in the community, and they never sort of show that. They show that with other fighters, but they don't with Woodley. And when he's the type of person who every time he opens his mouth about wanting some sort of a money fight, he gets criticized about not defending his title or not going after the title. When other people like McGregor or Bisping can always talk about the money fights, So I feel like he gets fronted on so much.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if there might be things behind the scenes that we don't know about why that is. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't see him as a star. You know what I mean? When John Jones was first coming up, Dana White loved him, and like they knew like they had a star in their hands. Maybe they just don't see Tyron as having star power, and they're businessmen as well. Dana White's a promoter, so they know things that we obviously don't. They know how to put great cards together. So I'm assuming maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and from what I hear, that before this match for 209 was official, they did offer up Woodley versus Nick Diaz, but Nick Diaz turned it down because he wanted more money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there you go. So that's what it's turning into ever since, definitely, even before the UFC got, let's say, bought out.
Yeah.
But now even more so, knowing how much money was that, $4 billion, $5 billion, whatever it was. Right. Now people they want to get paid, and rightfully so. If you look at how much boxers are getting as compared to MMA fighters and whatnot, I think they have a right to ask for more money.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
you go,
And not
yeah,
and not through the and even the lower card fighters, like they might get like 12 grand for the fight, but
yeah,
after,
paying your
paying for
manager,
training and all that,
yeah,
like they're basically fighting for free,
yeah,
and
pretty
it's
much, and
like,
like,
for me, if you are actually on TV or
mhm.
on a televised program for UFC, you should be getting paid a lot more than that.
Exactly. And you know why? Because people aren't paying to see Dana White talk. They're paying to see the fighters, right? And apparently, like, the UFC is like, they're on top, and no one's going to be taking them down anytime soon. No other fighting organization is going to be doing that. They're going to be on top for a while, if not forever, right?
Right.
So and the money's there. You pay your fighters. It's like, because let's say if Bellator starts turning around and like, we'll offer you guys more money, these guys are going to think about their family first. They'll head over, there, and you saw how much star power, let's say, like a Jose Aldo had when he was ready to walk away because of that whole fiasco with McGregor and fighting for the belt. And Jose Aldo's my favorite fighter. Ever since he knocked out Cub Swanson in 8 seconds with that flying knee, WEC, I'm like, I've never seen. It was amazing. I'm like, all right, I found my guy, and just an amazing fighter. But so I'm glad that he's still with the organization.
Cool. Then also for 209, there's they also signed Mark Hunt versus Alistair Overeem.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts about that?
I think that's a great fight, actually. I'm probably leaning more towards Mark Hunt. Overeem's chin is very suspect. Big guy, yeah, extremely suspect. I'm a huge guy, and I'm assuming it's because of all the battles, all the wars he's been in. But that dude, with his title fight, right? He was just running, right, a lot, and I'm assuming because he knows his chin is very suspect. It was I don't know. It should be interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. I thought when that guy came to the UFC that he was going to be, the top dog in the heavyweight division, and definitely not so. Do you know if is he still training at Greg Jackson's or no?
I'm not sure.
Jackson, yeah, okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Cleveland for 203 for the Overeem Miocic fight.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man. Oh, it was crazy because Stipe being from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like when that fight got stopped, that was like the loudest I've ever been a part of a crowd. Ever. Any sport, anything. I was just
awesome.
Like, holy shit.
Wow. Yeah. I can imagine. I know UFC's coming here a few blocks away from my house at the Barclays Center February 11th. So hopefully I will be on tour and I could catch it.
Yeah, that's UFC 208.
Yeah.
Which is going to be they're going to have the women's 145 pound belts with Holly Holm and the Ramadi. So what's your thoughts about that? Because I know Cyborg got popped from USADA for
brother
for taking something during her recovery.
Yeah.
But this was something where like she's been trying to get that division started for the longest time, and when they finally started asking her for these fights, they only gave her 8 weeks notice, and she just wanted 12 weeks, and they were like, no, so they ended up doing this fight. What's your thoughts about all of that?
It's, if she broke the rules, right, there you go. It's like, there are certain, USADA has certain rules and whatever the case may be, and like, you shouldn't be surprised by it. And of course it sucks, you know what I mean? I'd love to see her just kind of take over that division. She's a great fighter, you know what I mean? But if you shouldn't be surprised by suffering the consequences if you break the rules, shouldn't be a surprise.
it just sucks that this whole like relationship between the UFC and Cyborg has been tumultuous since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's everything that's happened has caused the next thing to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So and it just seems like a really bad relationship, man. Like
Yeah.
to the point where you're like, do you even continue it? You know, do you just part ways, or what's next? You know, so it just always I've wanted Cyborg to be that champion in the UFC, you know, but but it just been a tumultuous relationship.
Well, I look at it like this, right? You're not always going to like your boss, but you still have to go to work, right? So she has to look at her legacy, and once again, like her desire has to outweigh any of that stuff. You know, if she wants to go down as one of the best female fighters ever, MMA fighter, she's going to have to do it in the UFC. You know, in order for the people, I mean, she doesn't have to, but I'm just saying in order for people, right? Because the best fighters, people say, are in the UFC. So she's going to have to, you know, suck it up and just move forward, move on.
And I think to a certain extent she's tried, but I feel like sometimes, like, okay, like her big weight cut to 140 for that fight, I feel like that was to a certain extent unnecessary. And I feel like, and I feel like the decision making in the UFC comes from sort of a male driven thought process, when the female body is different than the male body in regards to weight and cutting weight and everything.
True.
So doing that weight cut isn't the same as a male doing that weight cut.
It's not. Okay. And I definitely see where you're going. I definitely agree with that. But there are other fighters, female fighters, who are able to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and actually lately it seems like a lot of guys, I've been seeing a lot more and more, male or female, not making weight. I'm like, what's going on? Anthony Pettis, I'm like, well, what is going on here? I don't know. But back to what you're saying, it's like, it's hard. If everyone could do it, then it's a tough job.
Right.
But I definitely understand. I definitely understand what you're saying. But you do have a choice to take a fight or not, and knowing how your body works,
Right. And then also for 208, they just announced Jacare Souza versus Tim Botch. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that's gonna be a great fight. I'd love to see Jacare and Tim Botch fight. I think it's gonna be awesome. Once again, I'll probably give it to Jacare. You know what I mean? I hate to make predictions, but that's where I'm leaning. How about you?
I'll go with Jacare on that. I think he'll pull it out. Next weekend, I'm actually going to be in LA for the Bellator fight with Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen. Nice. What's your thoughts about that? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I'm leaning more towards Chael Sonnen. You know what I mean? Me personally. Tito Ortiz, good fighter. Did a lot of great things for the sport. I think, but both of those guys, Tito Ortiz, in regards to what's the mental aspect of the game, right? I'll probably give the edge to Chael Sonnen, me personally. And I'm going based on years of just watching both those guys fight. I think they're both a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, in my opinion.
Right. They totally are.
But in regards to like the mental edge and I'll give it to Chael Sonnen, so I'm leaning more towards Chael for that fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chael too. I think just with the sort of pre-match, trash talking and everything, I feel like Tito is almost like forcing himself to try to get on the Chael Sonnen level. And he's just not good at talking, Yeah, and these promos that they're doing are just like atrocious, and it's just and it's just almost like just do a video package, man. Like, I think they just released a little mini doc for Chael Sonnen going back to his hometown. I still have to watch that, but it looks very like really good. Something they could. I think that's better than some of these back and forths that they've had between the two, because they're like, you're like, Tito, what are you talking about, man? Like no,
trash
stop.
talking is an art, and the guys who do it the best, once again, McGregor, and after McGregor started, I think everyone just started riding his coattails. I think John Jones does a great job at trash talking. Cody Garbrandt, great job trash talking. Michael Bisping, it's an art form. People can tell when you're being fake, when you're just doing it. But you have guys like, all right, I've mastered the art. It's like battle rapping.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like battle rapping, man. You have to really believe it, and people have to see the passion behind it when you're doing it.
Right. And one more thing I want to talk to you about before I let you go. Recently, legendary fighter Mirko Cro Cop, said he's going to be hanging it up, retiring after he just won the Ryzen Grand Prix tournament out in Japan. He said there's possibly one more farewell bout in him if he can recover, but he says he's basically hanging up, retiring from fighting. What's your thoughts about Mirko Cro Cop?
I think, once again, great job for the sport. Was it left kick? What was it? Right kick hospital, left kick casket, something like that. Do you remember what his saying was?
It was something like that.
Something like that. It's gonna be sad to see him go. The dude, watching that dude fight has always been amazing, and in pride and all that stuff. And just I think to me, you as a fighter, you always want to go out on top. You would rather your last fight, not be a loss or anything like that. So if he has one more fight in him, I hope he goes out with a knockout. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, he was. I just listened to an interview, and he was talking about all the injuries that he's had, and he said that he has kids now. One's like 6 and one's like 14, and he's like, he doesn't want to see them get him beat on the ground by some other fighter. The way he knocks out other fighters, he doesn't want that to happen to him in front of his kids right now.
Yeah.
Now that he's older and stuff, so he kind of wants to go out as a winner. Possibly one more farewell bout if he can recover from his injuries, but for the most part, he says he's retired.
Yeah, I mean he's done everything already. You know what I mean? So like I said, I think seeing fighters say goodbye is like, man, like that was a fun ride. Seeing them come up and wait and doing their final farewell, in the ring, the octagon, whatever the case may be. It's it's bittersweet, Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, Carley, it's been good talking with you. Tell everybody where they can find out about the band and the new album and everything.
Okay, you could find the new album's worldwide. It's on Metal Blade Records, Candiria, While They Were Sleeping. Find it on iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. Also, you could find the band updates on Candiria Facebook, Instagram, and my personal Twitter handle is Carley Coma NYC. So there you go. Thanks for the support. Awesome interview. Love mixed martial arts. Kelly, great job. Awesome.
All right, man. Thanks for chatting with me, man.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. You take care.
All right, you too, brother.
Later. So that was the interview with Carley Coma of the band Candiria. It was really cool to talk with him about MMA and about getting back into the band. Their new album, While They Were Sleeping, is out now on Metal Blade Records, so definitely go cop that. And now, like always, I'm joined with my co-host, pro wrestling and MMA connoisseur, Detroit hip-hop artist, and proud Marine, Vstylez.
Hey, what's going on, K-Fresh? You good?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, chilling, man. Just chilling. You about to go to LA soon and leave your man and have fun out there with Bellator and Glory Kickboxing. I'm kind of envious, but
Right.
I'll survive. I'll survive.
Yeah, I'm totally geeked to go out there. Glory Kickboxing on Friday, Bellator 170 on Saturday. my birthday on Monday, so
That's right. That's right.
ready to get away from everything. And I don't know how the weather is out there these days. It's been raining a lot, but it's better than here.
Anything is better than being in Michigan right now, man. You about to go to Cali, man. Have fun, dude.
Oh hell yeah. I can't. I'm itching to get out there, and those first few days I'm going to be out there, just going to be busy with all the Glory and Bellator stuff going on. So I'm super stoked, for all that. But once Sunday comes, I'm going to be chilling, and the rest of the time just going to, make some adventures around LA, run into people, see what's
man,
up.
You got to take advantage of that, man. I love LA, man. LA is cool.
See, that was my problem before.
California's cool.
That was my problem before. I went to LA twice. This was back probably about 2007, 2008, 2009, something like that. And I just didn't know how to get around the city, and that was before Uber and stuff like that. And I didn't really know about how to deal with the bus system and the subway system and whatever out there. And nobody really told me, so I was just kind of dependent on people come pick me up. But in that, I was at my boy's crib a lot, just chilling there, not really doing anything. And I kind of always regretted that. So this time I'm gonna use Uber, use the buses, go wherever I want, and actually enjoy.
Man, you better go have some fun, bro. That's man, I love Cali, man. I love Cali. My favorite city in California is San Diego. I'm a little sad because my San Diego Chargers are no longer the San Diego Chargers.
Right.
The goddamn Los Angeles Chargers, and I really don't know how I feel about that, man. I kind of wish you were going. I mean, LA is great. I can never front on LA, man. But San Diego, by far, is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been in my life. And, who knows, when it's old age and retirement time, you might find me in San Diego, man. Straight up, dude.
Right.
I BS you not. It's when I was in the Marine Corps, I just being there was the coolest. I've never seen water so clear as I've seen before in San Diego, man. I've been a lot of places, man, and easily my favorite city, dude. And I love Detroit, but as my boy Steve Austin would say, nope, not comparison. Not comparison to San Diego, man. It's Detroit, San Diego, and New York are my cities. And if I was to want to just go somewhere and just die, San Diego is the place I want to be.
Yeah, I never been to San Diego. I know a few people out there, but I still haven't made it out to San Diego.
Man, Kelly, I will not lie to you, man. It is. I didn't mean to throw your government out there, but I just would not lie to you. I
already know.
It's beautiful, dude. Beautiful. But LA is dope too. I don't want to sound like, that's just my preference.
Right.
LA is dope, man. LA is super dope, man. It's a lot of things to do. Their hip hop out there is what I wish our hip hop was like here in Michigan. It's a great place for people that really get the arts.
Definitely.
LA is, it's a great place, man. You definitely have to watch out, what colors you wear. Make sure you have neutral colors and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, it's one of the first things they taught us. You got anybody going out on Liberty? And then they'll explain the rules. Like, if you go out, Marines, make sure you wear neutral colors. I'm from Detroit, so I'm like, well, what the hell is neutral colors? And like Z, the gangs out here, man. No blue, no red. I'm like, huh? But yeah, that culture is serious.
Right.
I never was affected by it, but just be careful and live your life, and that's what it's all about, bro.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I wish I could be there this week, man. But I'm prepping for other things. Thornton Mellon, prepping for other things. Yes, sir.
Definitely. Yeah, and can't wait to hear more from the Thornton Mellon project that you're working on.
All I can say right now is it's coming along wonderful. I'm doing a Clash of the Titans Part 2. It's called Return of the Kraken, Class 2. And the ultimate goal is always to try to outdo, your previous stuff.
Yeah.
I think this record, this one record, is I think it's gonna be better than the original Clash of Titans. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Talk to my partner. I'm gonna be going to New York probably first week of March to shoot a couple videos. And
sweet.
Yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming. And when it comes, I'm telling you, you better be damn ready. You better be damn ready. I'm keeping that shit honest.
Right.
And if you fuckers not ready, y'all gonna be on the list. For real.
It's true. It's true. It's damn
true.
That's a nice segue.
Man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for that dude, man. I wish he would have came out yesterday. That pop would have been crazy. And look, the fans ain't missed a beat.
Oh no,
the fans.
Dude, okay. Kurt Angle is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, part of the 2017 class. Already announced Rick Rude and Diamond Dallas Page. But it was crazy on Monday Night Raw when they made the announcement and they just did the thing over on the Titantron or whatever on the entranceway. Like the whole crowd still started doing the "You Suck" chant.
The "You Suck." That was pretty dope. I'm sitting up there like, dang, they still get it.
He's still over, man. I was like, he literally has one of the the hypest entrance music ever, man. Like you know what it is as soon as it hits, And he got so over during his time in the WWF that it was that it still lingers around to today. The fans don't skip a beat with it. He really I don't think we even understood what we had when we
had, yeah.
And then when you kind of look back and you're like, dude, Kurt Angle was probably one of the dopest, swarmiest heels ever, man. When he turned the heel on, man, oh my goodness, it was incredible, man. And it's nice that through all the bumps in the road that he's had, with getting addicted to pain pills and everything,
pain pills, yeah,
and all that stuff that, and being away from the WWE for so long that he will be able to return while he's still alive and get his flowers and be able to smell his flowers, man.
Yeah, I ran into him a couple times, man. He I think he does some freelancing for Bellator.
Yeah,
and you see him at a lot of Bellator events. And remember that night that I told the infamous night with me, Mo, and Tito.
Yeah.
He was actually at that signing when that shit went down, man. So yeah, I met Kurt Angle, man. That's one guy that I don't have a picture with. You see, I got a picture with everybody.
Oh, man.
For whatever reason, I can never get a picture with Kurt Angle because it's either timing or I turn around and he'd be gone. But I've always had access to him. But he's always treated me real nice and, good for that dude, man. He made wrestling Kurt Angle is straight old school, man. He's a wrestler's wrestler. So, yeah, man, I'm happy for that dude. And to see the fans still giving him that same type of love, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Right, and the crazy thing is that he actually had a longer time in TNA than he did in WWE, and his time in TNA was actually really good. There's a few things that were kind of weird, but he had a really, really good career during his years in TNA. And in between all that, his body of work is just really, undeniable. So
oh, indeed, man. And look, even today, a 50% Kurt Angle still gives the hell of a match.
He does.
Seeing
Yes.
some of his work on as far as some of this indie work with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
He's still who he is, and I would like to see him in the ring. When he come back to the WWE, man. But it would have been real nice to see him come from behind the stage yesterday as the fans were chanting that. That was, and it's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. I just hope the WWE do the right thing and let him have one more match, man. I think we deserve that.
Yeah, I think everybody would love just to see one more match for Kurt Angle in the WWE. Who would you want to have Kurt Angle have his last match with?
Oh man.
Well, see, John Cena's first match was against Kurt Angle, so maybe.
Yeah, I remember that.
So maybe, Kurt Angle's last match will be against John Cena. Maybe that could happen.
Or maybe, a lot of people forget that Kurt Angle beat Brock Lesnar before.
Yeah, let's get that going. Let's get one more Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar match.
It's just so much stuff that you can do. Man, boy, I'm a fan of Kurt Angle, man. Kurt Angle was just pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. Yeah, it's a lot of things that they could do with him, but I just don't want to get. I don't want to get him in there just to, Like, got to be against a quality dude, man.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing, AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle. I mean, of course, I don't think that'll happen, right. But give me two dope-ass wrestlers in the ring with each other, and I'm okay with it, man. And he definitely qualifies as a dope-ass wrestler, man. I fucks with Kurt Angle.
That would be funny if, like, his one more match for Kurt Angle was against AJ Styles, which was like the main event of like TNA's like Hardcore Justice in 2009 or something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dixie Carter would probably be crying looking at that, like, oh my God.
Yeah. Dixie Carter probably fucking around crying anyway.
Right. Yeah, she's like, oh my goodness. WWE's doing it. Yeah. There's sad news in the world of wrestling.
Oh man.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka passed away. A lot of people got into wrestling, became wrestlers because of this dude.
Yeah. Can't front.
Yeah, he was battling stomach cancer for a while. And the thing is his sort of legacy had a little bit of a hit because of that the issue with his girlfriend 30 years ago. Like, okay, this is my question about that. I don't remember hearing about that. Was that a known thing? Like, I didn't even hear about it until even know that happened until the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's a known thing. And anytime it's stuff like that, the WWE tries to distance themselves, which is understanding. In fact, you can't even bring up any of Jimmy Superfly Snuka stuff on the WWE network, and he's a Hall of Famer. Same way they did Hulk Hogan, kind of making it look like he don't exist. Like he's not even on the WWE network, man. But anytime it's tragedy like this, they try to distance themselves, man. They did it to Hogan. They did it to Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
They did it, like, anytime it's stuff like that, you just will not be able to find no history like you had no history of, anytime it's something bad, they do the best of their ability to stay away from it. And, it's just sad, man, because, if you're a wrestling fan and you really love this shit, man, like, I try not to be that judgmental person when it comes to, it's similar to Floyd.
Right.
I think Floyd is the greatest boxer, I've ever seen. But somehow people, you have his personal issues. You want to focus on the negative issues. I choose to look at the person's in-ring work and judge him, the boxer. You know what I'm saying? Just the same way that you want to look at Jimmy Fly, Superfly Snuka, and you don't want to get into all that personal stuff. You just want to, like I said, as a kid, man, those are some of the greatest childhood memories, man, and that's how I want to remember him, just being in that square circle. Flying, man, look, I was a kid when wasn't really no cable and wasn't, like, we didn't have access to the stuff that we have now, man. We had to wait and see it on tape delay and stuff like that. When I finally got an opportunity to see the cage match between Don Morocco and Jimmy Superfly Snuka, when he made, if people, don't know their history, easily top 3 iconic moments of all time. Yeah. Before the props, before all the bells and whistles, Jimmy Superfly Snuka was jumping off top cages at a very high level, man.
Right.
And, if anybody had heroes and stuff, man, he made you believe, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he had several infamous moments, in wrestling. The cage, jumping off that cage, and then, a lot of people don't realize, man, without Jimmy Superfly Snuka, even though a person like me knew who Roddy Piper was, but that coconut incident, another iconic moment. So you're talking about, I'm for real, man. Like Piper was, look, think about this.
Right.
When Piper did that shit to Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Piper became instantly the world's biggest heel. Yeah. I mean, that's what made him the world's biggest heel. And then we seen stuff come out of that every week, like when wrestling was on Saturdays and Sundays, man. We had to wait like a fucking week to figure out what happened for this week on Saturday morning. And the beautiful part about it is, man, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he played that angle to a T. And I can remember, I forget how they played it, but like the following week, this wrestler by the name of the Tonga Kid came out and was defending, the honor of his cousin or uncle. I forget. I think it was cousin, but yeah, he came out to defend his honor, and he wound up beating Roddy Piper by count out. He was about to do Superfly. Years later, I always wondered, what happened to the Tonga Kid? As I got older, I realized that the Tonga Kid was Rikishi. Crazy story, man. Crazy fucking story. I said, wow, the Tonga Kid is fucking Rocky. And back then, Rikishi, he spun from being the Tonga Kid, from being one of the dudes in the Islanders. And so Jimmy Snuka, he spawned a lot of guys, man, because anytime you seen somebody, an island person, you related him to Jimmy Superfly Snuka, man. So it's just a great loss for people that really love professional wrestling. I try not to get into that personal shit because I don't want to remember that dude like that. And as a kid, I was too young to really understand that. So I just choose, even though that's a horrible situation, he did get, and he did get, I'm not going to say he got found innocent, but they didn't bring no charges on him. You can't co-sign anything like that, but like I said, I much prefer to remember the guy that, put his fingers up in the air, like the be cool, that the universal sign. I think I call people brother to this day because of Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Brother.
I call everybody brother, whether you white, black, China, everybody is brother to me. And Jimmy Superfly Snuka was the first one I ever heard saying that, man. So yeah, man, great loss.
Yeah, definitely a big loss. He was definitely an icon of professional wrestling. There was no one like him. He brought so much joy to so many people. So yeah, it's definitely sad to see him go.
Hey, Kelly, look, you know what's dope about him too? Think about it. He was one of the first wrestlers that didn't need a world championship to be as over as he was.
Oh, right, yeah.
He never was WWE or WWF at the time world champion, but he was treated like a world champion because of who he was. So yeah, that dude, man, he's the first. He's really the first high flyer, the very first. You didn't have dudes like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. You had certain guys, but they wasn't doing the shit that he was doing. I've seen Jimmy Superfly Snuka many a times on at Joe Louis and Kobo, and yeah, I got great memories. I've seen him come off that cage, and I mean not come off the cage, but I've seen him come off that top turnbuckle, and when he get on top of that turnbuckle, everybody in the fucking arena stand up because it's that fucking moment. It's that fucking moment that you want to see. So. Yeah, man. Yeah, I was just telling my son about Jimmy Superfly Snuka because he had never heard of him. But then when I showed him, he was like, "Wow, that guy was good." I was like, "Yeah, he was one of the best to ever do it."
Yep. Yeah. Definitely was. Just one of the most just iconic people like from that time, and it was like. He just definitely, influenced so many people, like for until today. He was so timeless and such a old school character. And like you said, he didn't need to win the title to be the champ.
Yeah, he was already after Jimmy did that. After he did. That jump from the top of the cage, he probably was more popular than the WWF champion. I think Bob Backlund was the champion at the time. Either Bob Backlund or it wasn't Hogan. I think it was Bob Backlund who was champion. Because I remember that. Definitely, I don't think it was Hogan, but I definitely think it was Bob Backlund, or it was in transition mode from the Iron Sheik, from Bob Backlund to the Iron Sheik. But I remember that shit like it was yesterday, bro. That's one of the greatest moments I've ever seen. I wish I would have caught it live, but when I finally seen it on TV, at least for that era, it was like one of the dopest things you ever seen.
Right.
And he was just over. Like we go to Joe Louis, and you generally you there to see the champion and stuff. No, when Jimmy came out, man, you heard that music, and the whole thing is, he could have his match, and you didn't really care about the match. You just was waiting for the moment. You was waiting for the moment he got on top of that turnbuckle, man. And I'm telling you, every time I seen him, man, everybody from pillar to post, whenever he got on that top rope, it was like they wanted that moment, man. And you never seen so many fucking Polaroids and cameras, and I'm talking about because you wanted that fucking moment, man. I don't think I ever seen him lose in Detroit. He never lost here in Detroit, man. But yeah, man, that's one of the guys, man, I wish I would have met. Definitely one of the guys I wish I would have met. So yeah, great for Kurt Angle. I'm glad he got in this week and well deserved. But yeah, that we slowly but surely watching our childhood.
You're telling me, man.
Yeah, man.
Slowly just going away.
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about that.
Right, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're starting to slowly but surely, man. One by one, man. They're just things and people that are just starting to go away from our childhood, man. And it's
Oh man.
Oh.
Man, yeah. Okay, go for it.
Okay. Turn into the world of MMA. UFC Fight Night was this past weekend. BJ Penn versus Yair Rodriguez, and this fight was pretty ugly, man. For BJ Penn, Yair Rodriguez, looked very impressive, and it just looked like a really bad mismatch. Yeah.
My feelings are hurt
over
this.
I know you're a big BJ Penn fan. He's one of your favorites.
Man, BJ Penn, arguably, man, him and Vanderlei Silva are the reason I fell in love with the sport all over again. I love mixed martial arts two times in my life. When it really didn't have no rules, when it was pretty barbaric and no rules, and when I started watching again, it was Vanderlei with Pride and BJ Penn with UFC. So to see him go out like that, man, it was crushing, and he had the full support. He had the full support of everybody. They ain't gonna cheer your name, man, in another place without giving you that, without having that love for you, man. And I don't think nobody that really loved the sport wanted to see BJ Penn go out like that. And, I think he's earned the right to, leave the way that he want to leave. So let's see if, Dana gives him one more fight. I'm curious to see what he could do with one more fight, but if he decides, hey, I'm going to hang it up, because that dude was a fucking monster that he fought, man. And I seen his last fight prior to BJ, but I just didn't think that was going to happen to BJ because of BJ. So, yeah, no excuses. Just, bad night for BJ, man. That's the thing about MMA, man. You can't be gone for over a year. You can't be gone for over 2 weeks without the game changing, man. Right. So that's the hard part, man. And, just like, I was saying a second ago with wrestling, man, some of my best memories is watching BJ, put in work. And, it's like, wow, that, it killed me a little bit. A little bit of me was like, I didn't want, generally I'm open to talk about anything. I didn't want to talk about it. I had to turn it off and get my mind off something else, man. That just was a bad loss.
Why do you think this matchup happened like this? Why didn't they, match him with somebody that was maybe, in the same, like maybe an older fighter, as maybe in the same, part of their career as he is, or why did they match him up with such a young up and comer? Especially like after the Frankie Edgar fight last time. And I was hearing that like Dana White said he never wanted to do something like this again, and this happened.
Yeah, this happened worse. This happened worse than fucking Frankie Edgar though. This shit right here was like, it's like a natural disaster happening in front of all our eyes. Never in a million years, man, did I expect to see BJ get decimated like that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe that was Dana's way of saying, "Okay, you got it." And he gave him a dog. Yeah, it wasn't a good idea. I would have did him the same way I would have did Ronda Rousey. If you out of the cage that long, give you a quick tune-up fight to see if you're ready for somebody that can. And then Styles makes fights too, man.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, man, Styles make fights too. So maybe that dude's style was just all wrong for BJ. In fact, maybe he just was all wrong for BJ, man. The one thing I don't want to do is discredit the dude, because the dude went out there and did his job and was a professional after the fight. So that's all. That's the beauty of MMA, man. You win, you lose, but you keep moving, you keep learning. So, BJ's earned that right, man. So let's just see what he do this time, and wish for the best for him, man. I definitely wish for the best for Duke, but I have no idea why they will make a matchup like that.
Yeah. Speaking of Yair Rodriguez, like he looked very impressive. Like he was, those high kicks were super fast. And
accurate.
And accurate, too. Like, I was super impressed by this guy. And definitely, like, I'm, like, interested to see more from him and see where he goes.
I thought I was looking at the Matrix, bro.
Right. I was like, holy shit, man. This dude's, like, landing all these... He looks like he was chopping down trees with his foot,
Man, them leg kicks, bro. Them leg kicks not leg kicks, them body kicks, the kicks to the torso, man. I'm talking about that left leg kick to the stomach, to the left side of the stomach. And he was landing it at will. And he was landing it at will, and you knew it was coming, and it wasn't nothing he could do about it.
I think the data from the match was that Yair had 60 significant strikes to BJ's 3.
Whew. BJ still got power, though, because I was reading some of Rodriguez's comments. He was like, I felt him. So if you got a younger fighter saying, yeah, I felt him, then, maybe, just stylistically, that just was a bad matchup for him, and you want to see him in there with somebody stylistically where I'm not going to say where he has a chance, because you always got a chance when you lace him up and get in that cage. But Styles just make fights, man. I've been around and seen it for the longest. If you got everything is a style. Everything is a style, man. So, you could be the most prolific person or whatever, but everybody got that one style to where it just it's just going to defeat what you're trying to do. So, yeah, man, dude, that was bad. I'm trying to wipe that off of my memory block, bro.
Right, man, right. Let's turn to another fight from that night, the Joe Lozon, Marcel Held fight. It was given to Joe Lozon, split decision, and afterwards, he in a very classy manner, he said that he didn't think he won that fight, and he ended up getting split decision, 29-28, 29-28, and then the other judge had it 27-30 for Marcin Held. I personally think Held got that, won that fight. I thought he did. I thought Lozon looked strong at the beginning, the first round, but looks like he gassed out by the third when Held seemed to take over the fight going into the second round, I thought. What'd you think about it?
I think Joe Lozon is a G for getting in there, saying he lost the fight. He did. He lost the fight to me. You've seen he lost the fight. In fact, the world saw that he lost the fight. I think he went in there with a person that he didn't think was good as a grappler as he was, based on the opponents that he had faced.
Yeah.
And I think he caught him off guard. So, you never want to take nothing away from nobody else's opponent, man, especially when you're keying on, people like, Joe Lozon. So Held did what he's supposed to do. Great grappler. He should have got the W, even though he didn't. But I think people like Joe Lozon, I think he's a G for having integrity and actually coming out and saying that. Most fighters wouldn't do that. They'd be like, yeah, I thought I wasn't the guy. And he didn't do none of that. He was a gentleman about it, man. So he gained even more respect from me for doing that. I was already a fan. So that's what's up. Yeah, he didn't win. Held won, even though he didn't get the decision. And, Joe Lozon, kudos to him, man. He straight arrow with me, man. Straight arrow.
And Held is someone who came from Bellator, and this was the second.
Yeah, I've seen him fight before.
Yeah, and this was his second fight in UFC, and he's lost his 2 fights in UFC. And Lozon actually went as far as to contact some of the higher ups at UFC and tell them, "Look, Held he has lost these 2 fights, but don't cut him. Don't hold it against him. He's a good fighter. He should have won this fight. Give him another chance. Don't cut him or anything."
Mm-hmm.
So that was really.
Oh, so Joe did that?
Yes.
Oh, you talking about based on the decision? Yeah, they shouldn't cut him. They shouldn't cut him off that.
He went.
Won that fight.
Yeah, he went as far as contacting the whoever, some of the higher ups at UFC, and tell them that this Held he's a good fighter. Don't hold the fact that he's lost his 2 fights in the UFC against him, because he should stick around.
Good shit, man. Again, I mean, that don't do nothing but make him look more like a G in my eyes, man. I fucks with Joe Lozon.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see like actual, classy moves, real sportsmanship like that. So that was really good to see on his part.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, though, man. You don't find guys that have that integrity, man. And when you do find it, it's like, wow, yeah. So yeah, I always support him, man. His grappling is A1. So for Held to even out grapple him and do some of the things, Joe couldn't stop the takedown, which I was surprised. And he couldn't transition to do really anything else off his back. And he was trying. You were seeing that he was trying. I mean, he couldn't do it. So, again, you never want to take away anything from the person even though he didn't get the victory, but, you Held, he did his job. He came and, he really won that fight, even though he didn't get that W.
Yeah, definitely. Turn into Bellator. I'll be like we talked about before. I'll be out in LA for Bellator 170, headlined by Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen.
Fuck Tito. Fuck Tito.
But
I love you though, Chris Cyborg. I love you, Chris. Fuck Tito though.
But yeah, turn into this fight. Personal emotions aside, what do each of these fighters need to do to come out on top on this?
I think Chael's going to win. I think Tito is a shell of this former self. I think Chael's going to control him with his wrestling. I just think Chael is the overall better fighter than Tito. Chael came out and said something the other day, and I'm like, damn, he was right. When Tito was in his prime, dude sucked. Fighters sucked. They're not evolved like fighters of today. Tito was a dude that came in straight in and based off his wrestling he could take people down and ground and pound. That's what Tito was like the pioneer of that. Yeah. Well, he wasn't a pioneer of ground and pound. Mark Coleman was, but Tito, it was the second coming of that type of style. So, when people caught up to that style, that was pretty much the demise of Tito in the UFC. And that's why, I always got to do this shit. But that's why he didn't want to fight Mo, because he knew what was going to happen. He knew the bricks was going to get beat off of him. So he waited until, he finally got the right matchup. Chael Sonnen was a name that everybody knows, whether you love or hate Chael Sonnen, which is crazy to me because people don't know you in real life, but, that somehow they choose to have these negative feelings about people that they really don't. Like me, I don't, people may think that I'm a Ronda. I don't like Ronda Rousey. I don't like the things that she do, which gives me a different outlook on her, but I don't know her to hate the person. I think that's kind of psychotic, but Tito definitely, I just think Chael has the edge. I think Tito has injuries that have caught up with him, like a neck injury. And I think Chael is, I ain't going to say he's going to walk through him, but I think Tito's going to break down by the beginning of the second round. And I think Chael does what he wants to him. I think he takes him down. I think he smothers him. I don't think it'll be a knockout. I think it'll be a grind-away decision. But it'll be an entertaining fight, man. I think people, are going to enjoy themselves. And I think, is this your first time going to a Bellator event?
Yes, my first Bellator.
I think you'll enjoy yourself, man. I've, had the pleasure of, experiencing, a couple of different, events. I'm pretty much at, all Bellator fights when Mo was competing. But the UFC experience is a little different from the Bellator experience, man. Both great experiences, but sometimes, man, I wish people got a chance to experience both, and they don't, which causes people to think that MMA is the UFC. But yeah, man, I think you're gonna have a blast, man. You get a chance to see Syntex too. Paul Daly gonna be rocking out. So
yeah,
let's see. Here's to you. Hopefully seeing a knockout. When Paul Daly's in the ring, man.
He's going against Brendan Ward. So you think
Brendan Ward is a beast, bro. Brendan Ward's wrestling is nice, dude. It's nice. So that's gonna be a hell of a fight. Styles make fights. Wrestling is really Paul Daly's Achilles. If you go back to the days of him and Josh Koscheck, you'll see. People will see. That's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. Yeah, I think people gonna be impressed with his opponent, man. In fact, I like Paul Daly, but Brendan Ward, I might have to pick him for the upset. Paul Daly got the name, but Brendan Ward he's sharp, man. His wrestling is nice.
Great. So what do you think each of those fighters need to do to win? What do you think Paul Daly needs to do to win? What do you think Brendan Ward needs to do to win?
Paul Daly needs to land that right hand because the blueprint to beating Paul Daly is already out there. Get him off his feet. He like a fish out of water. It's like the blueprint has been wrote time and time again how to beat Paul Daly, and that's not a knock to him because I really love his. He really does have syntax in his hands. If he touch you, you going down. But Brendan Ward is probably go slip his shots and go in for a single or double. And you go see Paul Daly struggling to get up off that mat for 3.5 minutes each round. I think he's going to get smothered. But, if Semtex catches him, it's going to be problems, man. And, Helm got a right hand, too. I don't want to front like he ain't got no hands because he got hands, too. But his wrestling game is what puts him over the top. And, it's going to be an interesting fight, man. It's going to be an exciting fight. People shouldn't be surprised if Hell come out, if Brendan Ward come out with the victory.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm excited to see it all, and definitely gonna be there, in person, soaking it all in. So yeah, I'm super excited to go to Bellator this weekend.
I'm gonna make sure that I give you more contacts, and because he know you coming.
All right, cool, man.
And
Cool.
I'll make sure that y'all chop it up or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, man. If I'm gonna definitely make it to the fan fest that they're doing out there. I definitely want to meet Sakuraba.
Oh, Sakuraba probably gonna be. Look. If Fan Fest be dope, man. I've been to a whole lot of Bellator Fan Fest, man. Of course, the one I told you all about over and over again, the great experience that I had with Tito Ortiz and his bitch ass. But Fan Fests are cool, man. You get a chance to, see some people that, you don't necessarily get a chance to see, man. Like Fedor. I've been around Fedor a couple times. I've been to a couple Fan Fests where Kimbo, was there. Rest in peace. Kurt Angle, Frank Shamrock, Vanderlei. Fan Fests are super cool, man, because you get a chance to kick it with some of your favorites from yesteryear and up and coming people. So, it's real cool. And then it's nothing better than at the end of the night getting liquored up and playing games with the fighters, man, because that's what you're there for, man. You're there to have fun with the fans. And I don't mean, they should be paying me for this plug, but what better way to do it at a place like, Dave and Buster's, but yeah, I every time we go to the Fan Fest, man, it be, it's always something different. The fans be cool, man. Yeah, I'm a fan,
Yeah.
but being around them when, like, I ain't on necessarily outside looking in, but I see it from a different perspective because of, who I'm around. So, yeah, it'd be real cool, man. Then fans get a chance to see that, hey, maybe this guy right here is not a dick, man. Because when people be thinking Mo is like the meanest person in the world until they talk to him, and then they become a fan of him once they see, like, wow, this dude, he's legit. He gets a bad rap, So, yeah, man, yeah, that's definitely go there and enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself with that. And I know you say you give up drinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mo don't drink neither, so you ain't got nothing to worry about that.
Right.
That. But I ain't gonna lie, man. When I go to the Fan Fest, boy, and you get up to where the fighters be at, man, it's just free liquor on deck. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I want to turn the discussion to something else. Usually, the Invicta events, really don't get a lot of discussion afterwards. But I didn't get a chance to watch it live. I don't know where I was during it, but I come home and I checked social media, and like MMA Twitter is just on fire over shit that was happening at Invicta. The first thing was, did you see this? The ending of this fight between Amy Montenegro versus Celine Haga?
Nah, didn't somebody tap out or something like that?
Okay, what was going on is I believe Amy Montenegro was pretty much winning the fight throughout the whole match, but at the end of the fight, third round, as the fight was as the time was running out, Haga came through with this a last minute submission, and actually Montenegro was unconscious as the fight ended. So
wow.
Instead, but they still sent it to the judges, and the person who was actually unconscious when the fight ended, Amy Montenegro, actually got the unanimous decision win. And oh wow, that's fucked up. Yeah, and soon after, because there was so much discussion on it, that John McCarthy actually said that the rule is, if when the fight ends, if a fighter is unconscious, it's a TKO for the other fighter in favor of the other fighter. But they
So what they wind up doing? Did they reverse the decision?
no, they haven't done that yet. I don't know if they're if it's gonna be if they're gonna take it up with the commission or anything. But they didn't reverse the decision at all.
Wow.
I don't know if they're gonna reverse it or make it a no contest. But Celine Haga choked out Amy Montenegro at it was probably one of the the dopest comebacks. But basically, she was saved by the bell, and they still sent it to the judges. So that was super crazy that happened.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go see if I can find that in Victor footage.
Yeah, it's on YouTube and everywhere. You can pretty much find it anywhere. And the other thing that happened was that in the main event, Megan Anderson beat Charmaine Tweet for the interim featherweight championship, and and after the fight, she called out the winner in UFC of Holly Holm and Jermaine Duramini coming up, saying that I want the winner of that fight.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know where I'm about to even go with this. You know what? Y'all all better jockey for positions. Do what you gonna do for that 145 while my girl is figuring out her situation and what's going on, because none of you fuckers will be the 145 champion officially until you beat my girl Chris Cyborg. So, go ahead and get happy and make history, but just know that your time is limited and enjoy your championship, especially Holly Holm, man, because I like Holly Holm, but I don't think she deserves no title shot coming off 2 straight losses. I think that's bullshit.
And also, Amanda Nunes is calling out the winner of that fight also.
Nah, Amanda Nunes. See, you know what I'm hating about? You know where I'm about to go with this shit too. You know what I'm hating about fucking the fight game now, specifically MMA?
What's that?
All these fuckers want money fights. I get that. Totally get that. The new thing now is whether you're a heavyweight or you're a flyweight in men's MMA, and if you're in UFC, is I want Conor McGregor. How, motherfucker? How do you Anderson Silva called him out today?
Right.
And it's so sad that it's obvious that these are fucking money fights, and the fighters are understanding that now. They understanding that, hey, if I fight this guy, I'm making some millions. And that's cool. And I'm not saying Anderson Silva don't deserve that right, because he's been through the trenches. So he definitely, he could do that. But when I hear dudes from Cody to Woodley to this person, everybody want to fight fucking Conor. How about fighting some of these people in your division, man? How about if you're at lightweight or under lightweight and you want to come up to lightweight, how about y'all fucking fight Khabib? Nobody want to talk about fighting Khabib.
No, nobody does. Nobody does.
Want to talk about fighting Khabib, because you see, it might be holes in, McGregor's game or whatever. You want to fight. Or women now. For women, it's either I'll fight Ronda Rousey now, and, I'm turning into the guy that has been, not necessarily a Ronda Rousey hater, but overly opinionated as far as the things that she's done. I'm turning into the guy that's kind of rooting for her now.
Me too.
And as weird as that.
Me too. Me too, man. I know what you mean, man.
Yeah, because it's I try to be knowledgeable, just like I know you try to be knowledgeable about what we talking about.
Yeah.
We present what we present here on Fresh is the Word podcast.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. But it's right now, Ronda Rousey is like beating a dead horse. And it's like, okay, yeah, did she do a lot of shit that we probably didn't like? Yeah. But now it's like she's the easy target, man. And whether she put herself in that position or not, you know, when you talk about honor and all that type stuff, man, you know, you got to give these people a chance to evolve, man. So I would love to see her come back. And I went from really digging Juliana Pena to not really liking her now, because she talks shit. She talks cash shit about everybody. And obviously she's just trying to get a title fight. Like, everybody trying to do all this slick shit, but they're not doing it the right way. I feel like if you build your brand, then these mega fights are going to come for you. But to just all of a sudden say, I want to fight, man. And back to Amanda Nunes, I rock with American Top Team. You know, I know some people down there, know some fighters. My boy rocks out American Top Team. You know, I root for Amanda Nunes. But I think Amanda Nunes has business that she has to deal with in her division before she can say something like she want to fight for the 145 title. You ain't defended your belt except for one time, successful against Ronda Rousey. But how about you defend it against Pena? How about you defend it against a couple other people in your weight division? And then say, hey, you know what? Let me go up, you know, to 145 and fight. And what people better pray for, while everybody asking for these 145 fights in the women's division, they better hope something bad happened with the commission with Chris Cyborg, because
I know,
it's only a matter of time.
Isn't it funny that as soon as this USADA thing happened with Cyborg,
everybody's jumping out now, right?
Everybody talking about this 145 division now.
Everybody want to talk about this shit now. And that's the shit we've been on for a minute. Like, are you kidding? Now you motherfuckers is brave enough to talk about the
people were quiet, man.
You want to do it now. You want to do it now because Chris going through some shit. Man, they know. They know.
I've heard so many people if they just bring up the word Cyborg, they get quiet.
They get quiet and they want to talk about something else and all that. Look.
Now everybody wants to fight in this division. Oh, come on, yo.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now it's, I'll go for the 145. And as soon as the mic go off, they whispering, you know, to their management or to the person on their team, is Cyborg going to be eligible to fight? No, she's not eligible. Yeah, I want the 145 title shot. You know, it's like
the whole time
I see through it.
The whole time Chris Cyborg was lobbying for this division, and she was basically the only one lobbying for it. Everybody else is quiet. Everybody else is quiet. Then this USADA thing comes up, and now everybody wants to be a part of this division.
Yeah, including Dana. Look, they know. If they were smart, they'd leave that girl alone and let her make them a ton of fucking money. Because when you talk, it's just like women is just like men, man. We live in a world where people want to see fucking blood. We live in a world where it's still like at fucking gladiator shit.
Right.
We live in a world to where if Leonardus was a real fucking person, or, well, maybe he's a real person, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you were over there in Rome fighting in the Colosseum, you want to see that person get stabbed. Professional fighting is the same way. And there is no woman better out there Chris Cyborg will beat the brakes off a motherfucker, man. But that's just, y'all know we fans of Chris Cyborg, man, because can't nobody fuck with her, man. And until somebody fuck with her, then, you know, it is what it is, man. But you ain't seeing nobody call her out. Ain't nobody call, are you sure she, oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to sign that 145 title. Everybody doing that shit now. It's so sickening. Like you motherfuckers. Okay, I'm sorry. Man. That was a little I'm sorry.
Never a dull moment in the world of MMA.
Indeed, man, indeed.
All right, that's about it for this week's episode of Fresh is the Word. I'm getting ready to go to LA. I leave Wednesday night, hitting the plane, gonna be there for like a week and a half. I'm ready to get out of Detroit for a little bit. I'm ready to see some kickboxing at Glory. I'm ready to see some mixed martial arts at Bellator.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm geeked. I'm ready to go, man. So I'm definitely I'm set. Let's go. Before we leave, Vstylez, tell them where they can find you online.
Oh, you can reach me at on Twitter at / twitter.com /VSTYLEZ. That's Vstylez with a Z, VSTYLEZ. You also can reach me at Facebook, facebook.com / Vstylez, VSTYLEZ. You can reach me on my official artist page on Facebook that's verified at official Vstylez. That's facebook.com / official Vstylez, VSTYLEZ. And you can reach me on my Instagram at VSTYLEZ with the / And yeah, man, Kelly going out to LA.
Yes.
This is gonna be a fun week for my man. Have fun and enjoy, man. Live life, man. 'Cause that's it ain't promised tomorrow, man. So just enjoy yourself.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week.
All right, peace.
Fresh is the word.